Prevail day to day. Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for tuning back in. It's your boy. Fuck it, Beef Stew. We'll call me Beef Stew. How about that? Old beefy bitch. How does that work for you? Yeah, hey man, plenty of people laughing. We all know I'm a Packers fan. They got their dicks knocked in the well, sort of. Actually, we'll talk about the game in a little bit. But let's just recap all the games in the divisional round. Holy shit! By the way, this might be the best divisional round that we've ever fucking seen. I mean, everything was either a walk-off field goal or overtime in the case of the Chiefs and the Bills. So let's just get right into the nitty-gritty of it. The Rams and the Bucs ended 30-27. Again, that was one of the walk-off field goals there. As time expired, a 44-yard pass to Cup. It's like, I don't understand how that... I don't know how else to explain it. It's one of those things where it's like, don't you just always key on the number one receiver just for good measure? You know, I've never seen that before. I guess I should say I've never understood before why it happens so frequently. That just like. It's not even, a guy, they ran 5 routes and somebody split open, you know. No, it's this dude that, like, we all know is very good, you know. And he breaks through for 44 yards. But the Rams fumbled 4 fucking times. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth like Cam Akers or what have you. But people were saying, like, he's going to be a very good running back, you know. And I'm sure that he's still fine, you know. But, I mean, fucking... Jiminy Christmas, like, to the Bucs' point, you know that Brady's never out of anything until the game is over. So of course they were down at one point. I think it was 27-3 was like their biggest deficit, and then they brought it back 27-27. You know, just Matthew Stafford. Man, I've been clowning on him ever since the playoffs fucking began. To his credit, I mean, he's been playing pretty goddamn well. Anybody that can, you know, cover 44 yards in a single pass when you gotta have, you know, I mean, it's like they could have knelt out and it went into overtime, but they didn't do that. They went for the win, and, you know, good call, because the game did go to overtime. Let's talk Chiefs Bills. And I mean, for to Josh Allen's credit, holy shit, guy was balling out. Got 4 touchdown passes to Davis, turns out to be a postseason record. But, you know, this was one that ended up in overtime. 13 seconds was all that it took for frickin' Patrick Mahomes, you know, to hit a couple of passes, and damn, I mean, I can't believe it. Because otherwise you're thinking, like, even with timeouts, and they had all 3 of them, even with timeouts, you got to imagine they probably only have 3 plays, right, if you include the field goal. You know, big completion, field goal. That's more or less what you had time for. So, good for them. And I've been seeing a little bit of overtime changes up and about and throughout, and on Twitter at GB_D2D. Go ahead and throw me a follow if you like. I've seen a lot of like, you know, maybe we can make it so that like both teams get a chance to possess no matter what. Which I'm kind of in favor of, and then I saw like, you know, the initial team has to go for 1, and then the defending team, I guess we'll call it, the team that didn't get the ball to start the overtime period, could get, like, they had to score a touchdown, obviously, but then they're required to go for 2. Yeah, so that's, you know, like that ends the either way, you know. But I think it just play another quarter. You know, if things are tied up from there, I mean, you know, in the regular season, I guess we can still end it in a tie. But in the postseason, I mean, just start another fucking quarter. Like, you know, I don't know. Because it does, like, somebody did the math, and they were like, only 53% of the time. And it's like, well, okay, but there are a lot of teams that honestly should not be playing against other teams in overtime. That, and they win the coin flip, but then they go 3-and-out, right? I mean, that happened to Josh Allen's Bills against the Buccaneers, even. So, I don't know, and that's not, I'm not, just because I kind of waxed Josh Allen there for a second, isn't to say anything badly about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he played a pretty goddamn good game, too. So, but, I don't know. It's becoming more and more clairvoyant to me that, like, you better not leave, but time for a play on the clock if you're going to, if you're in position to win it. Because, we saw 13 seconds. Aaron Rodgers brought back 37 seconds in week 3 against San Francisco at Santa Clara without timeouts, So, but congratulations to the Chiefs. They host the AFC Championship. The Titans and the Bengals. I don't know how to, like, if I'm not mistaken, Tannehill threw 3 picks. And that's just something that's like I don't think anybody knew, I should say, I don't think anybody, as Tannehill was going to Tennessee, I don't think anybody thought, like, oh, he's going to turn things around. He's going to be a real game changer. Like, totally just a game manager, probably. You can't have your guys turn over the ball 3 times. You can't have your quarterback do that. Even if, he's scoring 5 touchdowns. I think they only scored 1. Right? It was 19-16, if I'm not mistaken. Again, another walk-off field goal, which the Bengals probably don't even have a chance at if Tannehill just doesn't throw the turnover. So he found a way to lose it. It's sad to say. But, I mean, their defense was fucking just doing everything that they could. He fucking sacked Burrow 9 goddamn times. You know what I mean? I can't describe the victory for the Bengals as anything other than, Burrow escapes with the win. Because Jesus fucking Christ, 9 sacks? 9. Holy shit. Okay, But maybe Burrow, I don't think it's even fair to say maybe anymore. He probably has whatever teams are looking for in quarterbacks. That is more than arm talent and more than accuracy and even more than pre-snap play. Joe Burrow might have it in spades. So, and I think he threw a pick as well. I think it was just 1. But boy, howdy, what could have been if the Titans had won that one? Because, like I said, with Tannehill throwing that last pick, otherwise they were kind of driving. They were making it through. So, but it was just a fucking terrible pick. I can't understand why. Like, he threw an equally as terrible pass, I thought, but because the defender didn't get his head around on it, Antonio Brown ends up catching it. Or is it Antonio Brown? No, what the fuck? No. AJ. I'm blanking on his last name. I'm pretty sure it's, but anyway, it's he fucking catches it in one arm. Like fucking crazy. Unbelievable. Good for him. So, but it unfortunately comes short. So, but to speak of Antonio Brown, I guess if you're gonna fucking leave a team, I'm not saying I'm on AB's side at all, because I'm not. However, if you're gonna fucking leave a team, you might as well burn the fuck out of that bridge to the extent that it's like you fucking sent out a tweet, depending on when you hear this, around a day ago, that the Bucs were eliminated. So it's of him effectively holding up a sign, even though he didn't have one, obviously. It was while he was jogging off the field between the Jets and the Bucs. He just photoshopped a sign in that said Bucs eliminated, which is like, I don't know, just some part of the pettiness of like, Bruce Arians gave you a chance and Tom Brady vouched for you and gave you a shot, and like to just like fuck those guys and fuck you too. It's like, I don't know, I can't get over it, man. So, all right, let's fucking get into it. Okay, here we are. Packers choked. I don't think there's any other way to describe it. If I had told you just seconds before the game. You know what? The Niners are only going to score 13 points. You would probably have come back with, well, how badly did they get beat? You know, how many points did the Packers score or something like that? The answer to the latter question is 10. That's my MVP. 10 right now. All of 10 points. Well, I just want to let that hang in for a second. 10 fucking points. Listen, Aaron choked. You know what I mean? I know that the special teams at least accounted for 10 points that were left on the field. Right? Things obviously would have probably went differently, but if you're just talking about the 2 field goals that the Niners scored, right, that's still fewer than 10. But no, there was a blocked punt just outside of the Packers' end zone that then gets returned into the Packers' end zone, and then even on the last field goal, for whatever reason, there were only 10, as far as I could see. I don't know, maybe somebody was back there just in case they could return it or something like that. I only saw 10, so I don't know, irritating, because the Packers received the kick, they start off with a touchdown drive, unbelievable. And then, just before the half closes, you know, Mike Shanahan, I'm thinking, oh, you dumb Mike Shanahan. Or Kyle, is it Kyle? Fuck, Jesus Christ. Kyle Shanahan, I fucking said Mike Shanahan for so goddamn long. Kyle Shanahan calls a timeout, and I'm like, you know what, man, fucking strangle the life out of him. And Aaron finds Aaron Jones for like a 75-yard or something. I'm not sure how many yards it was, but it was fucking basically changed the field over, so had to have been quite a bit, 70-something. And then we can't cash in, which is, you know, I mean, part of it was also that we were running out of time. And just, listen, I didn't play a fucking snap in college. I basically graduated from community college on a fucking plea bargain. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know in the NFL how things work. But, I mean, the first thing that you learn when you're a lineman in high school, at least to me, is you block inside out. So why did this cat more or less come in untouched? You know what I mean? I don't know. So that's 3, you know, so we end the half at 7-0. And I mean, the rest of the game plays as you would have thought out, because that actually, Jimmy Garoppolo threw a pick to set up the, you know, that's why the Packers were, that's why they would have even had to have had a 75-yard play that did not turn into a touchdown. It's because we were on our own like 4 or 5 or something like that. So, and then they blocked the punt pretty late in the 4th, which immediately changes everything. I mean, just, you could see the crowd is like, you guys, you know, what are we fucking doing here? You need to play the play, you know, like, the shit just doesn't, they're going to try to fucking block it, obviously, if they get a chance. Like, that's like one of the biggest turnarounds in fucking NFL, you know, is as an NFL play to play. Like, that immediately changes the fucking field, like to an unbelievable degree. Okay, so 10-10, right? And I'm like, 4 minute, dude. I know these guys. I know how they work. They know that they've got all the fucking time in the world. You know, throw in some runs, get a couple of first down completions, you know. Passing complete. Lazard is fucking wide open in the middle. And so sadly, right, because what I'm thinking is they're just going to, wind down the clock, and maybe with like 28 seconds or something like that, you know, somewhere in the middle of like, can get a few plays off. They'll kick a field goal. I mean, obviously, if we're really lucky, you know, we'll get down to like the 20, and they'll kick one as time expires. And then if we go to overtime, then Mason Crosby unfortunately missed one, and the fucking special teams wasn't very good to begin with. So, but if we get it, you know, game over. But no. Fucking incomplete. But then we're okay. As long as it doesn't fucking get blocked, maybe we can get a good punt in. Because Bajorquez also has missed a couple, shanked a couple, I want to say, practically won a game. At least from all the games that I watched, and I watched a lot of them, where it was a 30-yard punt. Who the fuck can't punt 30 yards? So, but, no, it's a pretty good punt. I don't want to say it changes the field necessarily, but it's pretty close to it, and I don't know. There was still time, right? 3rd and 7, and they run with Samuel, which is a smart thing to do. I wouldn't have passed it if I was them, because, obviously not only does that kill the clock immediately, but, Jimmy Garoppolo throws a couple of times to your opponent, I'm not bad-mouthing the guy. I think he's a sweet dude. I'm sure he's a great guy, but that's just something that you're going to have to live with. If you want Garoppolo on your team, you're probably going to have one in the interception column. Maybe 2. Ask Tennessee. So, okay. So, and then, 3rd and 7, Deebo Samuel runs for 9 yards. Which is, I think that the longest run was at 12 yards by the 49ers. So it wasn't the longest run of the day, but it was still guys, I don't know. I feel like that's play one shit, you know what I mean? Play against the run. And then if Jimmy G somehow manages to complete it, then fine. But I don't know, all night it seemed because if you consider the drops that the 49ers had, the wide of the fucking middle of the field seemed to be wide open to me. Constantly. Kittle dropped one, I think Samuel dropped one. I think Jennings, was it Jennings or was it Ayuk that ended up dropping one? So, I don't know. But they move on. They obviously go to SoFi. So, all right, no more bullshitting and beating around the goddamn bush. We'll talk about the championship games, and then we'll end with a quick little discussion about the Packers' future, as the season is obviously over. So the Chiefs host the Bengals. Man, I don't know. It just seems like the fact that you are playing with an O-line that can allow anywhere near 9 sacks, I would say 3 or 4 sacks are probably going to keep you out. But the defense, to the credit of the Bengals, I guess, the Chiefs' defense is poor right now. They just allowed 36. Right? I know that Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, but that's still that's unbelievable to me. So I guess I would say, I don't know. Otherwise, it's Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow's offense is doing pretty good. The defense is fine for the Bengals, but not electrifying. As a matter of fact, there were a couple of stupid penalties by I think it was Eli Apple was the big one. It's he's was taunting a guy. Yeah, which is just fucking stupid. Why would you do that? This you got I think they did that on an interception. And then Eli Apple stands over, I don't know, somebody. So, fucking 15 yards at the end of the play. And then if I'm not mistaken, I think the Bengals ended up going 3 and out. So, thanks a lot. I don't know. But, let's see. Chiefs, I guess I would probably say Chiefs by 7. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Because Joe Burrow he's not climbing around, man. But, the Chiefs got lucky in overtime. That's the reality. I don't care what, if this isn't your only source of football information, especially in the postseason, that's not only smart, but if you watch First Things First, Nick, there was never a fucking doubt. Bullshit, there was never a goddamn doubt, dude. If that fucking coin flip goes the other way, I'm pretty fucking confident that they fucking get into the end zone. That the Bills get into the end zone. I'm not positive. I'm pretty goddamn confident. You know what I mean? So, yeah, what am I doing? All right, Chiefs Bengals. I would say Chiefs probably by a touchdown. But man, I don't know, man. This season is. If you would have told me that the Bengals would have been in the AFC Championship game, visiting, but in any capacity, I would have been like, dude, what? Don't at me, bro. And then looking at the Niners and the Rams in the NFC Championship game, Kyle Shanahan is 6-0. You can't look at that with a, but part of me just said, like, if you watch the entire game of the Niners and the Packers, the guys were coming off the field. The Packers were apparently beaten, the physicality was clearly on the Packers side of the field, I think, because constantly there were guys that were, getting hobbled and having to, come off and take a couple plays off at the very least, including Deebo Samuel. And so I don't know. I guess I would say the Rams are at home. And reports suggest that the Rams have been pretty, like, they're only allowing, like, sales from the LA area, which is, like, the pettiest shit you can do, but I guess also, like, probably not, like, illegal according to the NFL. So, I don't know. You're going to have home field, you're going to have the fan advantage, you're going to have the healthier team, you're going to have the better quarterback, and I would honestly say it's probably a push at head coach, at coaching. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what else? What else could you think of that's like, he's kind of a push defensively? No, I don't think so. I think that the Rams have the better defense, And if you walk in with the worst quarterback, you're going to have to do a hell of a lot with your running game, which I think the Niners can do. But honestly, I think that the Rams defense is tougher than the Packers defense. So you go from a driving blizzard. Well, it wasn't. You go from light snow, but Arctic conditions, right? Like, very, very, very cold chill to, now we're both getting to play in very good weather. So I think I'll take the Rams by like 3, but only on virtue of, like, those guys were getting hobbled, We'll see what happens. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a fair, sitting here as a Green Bay Packers fan today, I think it's a fair moniker. I think choker is fair, because if he would have done, I don't know, if he would have done something. Let me throw a little analogy at you, sort of. I used to work for Coca-Cola for just south of 4 years. And I was in the same spot the entire time. And I guess I was always under the theory that, like, in that third year, if something was going to happen for me, it would have happened by now. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying if Aaron Rodgers, for whatever reason, decides that he does want to come back to Green Bay. He outright said that he is not entertaining a rebuild, even if LaFleur and the entire front office says that they want him back. He doesn't really want to do that. I think he should go. It's not because I believe in Love at all. Love is a shit quarterback. But we've seen it. We've seen it enough times, where, he's one of the most efficient playoff quarterbacks, except for this time, I guess. But, it amounts to nothing, effectively. Right? Now, there are 3 games that I can count to, including a Niners game, where he would force overtime, never got the ball back, right, against the Niners, the Seahawks, and the championship game. And what was that other one? The Cardinals. Those are the 3 that I can say for sure, where it's like, well, it's done, shit happens, right? Like, you did your best and you couldn't quite get there. The other side of that, though, is that, the defense for the Packers allowed 44 points against the Falcons. That's true, but they scored 0 in the first half. Or maybe 7. Again, the defense allowed 37 by the Niners and uncouth amount of rushing yards, but the Packers scored 0 in the first half. So, in that championship game a couple of years ago. But otherwise, I mean, like sometimes the ball just falls the wrong way, but I don't think that that's the case necessarily anymore. For whatever reason, Rodgers can't win. But, before it did not seem fair to say, like, oh, the outlier is that, that they won a Super Bowl, that they shouldn't have. When obviously, I mean, if you were supposed to win, then why didn't you win? Although this divisional game felt like we were supposed to win, right? We didn't have 2 shitty plays by our special teams, then we wouldn't be, if we take away one of them, it's arguable to say that we would be, hosting the NFC Championship game against the Rams, but shit is what it is. So people keep talking about, like, I don't think he's going to return. If he does come back, I would be fucking amazed because there's so many fucking free agents. Like, it's just not, until we hear otherwise, let's presume it doesn't happen. And that he doesn't retire. People are saying Steelers. I'm not confident in their offensive weapons and their defense, except for Cam Hayward, another guy that I'm blanking on, forgive me, and TJ Watt. Those guys, I mean, the defense allowed 36 against the Chiefs and 42 against the Chiefs. Does that interest anybody else? No? Yeah, I didn't think so. The 49ers had apparent sincere interest in Aaron Rodgers when they thought that he was not going to go back to Green Bay. So I don't know why that would necessarily change. I don't know what Trey Lance brings to the table, but say what you want about Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. He's still one of the best, like, maybe top 3. I don't know. Who would you say? Brady, Montana, Manning. So, yeah, probably 4, right? I think 4 is probably fair. So they would probably try to make a move at him. And plus, that's like his favorite team when he was a kid. So people saying the Broncos appear to have a pretty solid defense. But, who knows what they're going to do at head coach. They got rid of their head coach, so I think that's a pretty far shot. But, maybe you get a receiver there. And it might be arguable to say that Devontae Adams is also going to follow. It could be. I don't think so necessarily, but, we'll have to see what happens. But my sleeper pick would actually be the Panthers. I feel like the Panthers are a quarterback away. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry. I think the O-line, could obviously use some work, but, nobody's perfect. And then again, receiving core isn't fantastic, but you got arguably top 3 running back in the league in Christian McCaffrey. And then that's part of the problem, I think, of why he gets injured so often is because it's, he's always getting the ball. So, you bring Rodgers in, you get a Devontae Adams-ish kind of guy, and hopefully Devontae himself, right, if you're the Panthers. And then, I mean, the defense is like, again, it's nothing that's like miraculous, but I think it's pretty decent. Sometimes. I don't know. That would be the sleeper pick. I don't think that he's going to go to Carolina, but it could be. Stephon Gilmore, right? So, all right, guys, that's all I got to say for this one. Beefy bitch out. You can email me at Green Bay Day Today at Outlook, like day GB-D, the number 2D at Outlook. And then you can follow me on Twitter if you like at GB_D2D. Otherwise, guys, that's all that I got for you. Have a good week. We'll catch you later.